Welcome back to Cheche, the program where opinion counts on Citizen TV. We're discussing the situation in Juba, the capital of South Sudan, because of course, earlier this week it was reported that there was an alleged coup attempt there. So our guest today is South Sudan's ambassador to Kenya, Majok Guandong. And you've outlined the situation there. You claim that this was a coup foiled by malcontents within the government. But there are also rumors that part of this malcontent, beyond poor governance, which the claim is, there's also an issue of ethnicity. That South Sudan is a government run by the Dinka ethnic group, and other groups have been sort of shifted away from the centers of power.
I don't think that is correct. You see, we have more than 47 ethnic groups in South Sudan, major ethnic groups. So everybody is in government according to his or her own merits. And if you take even today, as we speak, the leadership of the army is not a Dinka. The commands of the army are not Dinkas. But the Dinkas are also within the army. But this is not the question. I think some people want to divert the reality of the situation. That is a group that is fighting to take power by force, not necessarily that because Riek Machar is a Nuer or because the president of the republic is a Dinka.
I'll interrupt you.
It is
I'll interrupt you because if you say they wanted to take power by force and that this was a coup, why is it that they did not simultaneously go to the state broadcaster, the airport, attack the presidential palace, which are the hallmarks of a coup? Yeah. Well, the other narrative we're hearing about this, what happened on Sunday, is that it was disgruntled soldiers expressing their frustration. And you seem to be using this to clamp down on your critics.
Yeah, on the opposition.
Well, I don't think that is correct. I think some people wanted to divert the reality of the situation on the ground, that there was an attempted coup. And nobody will believe in Juba today that there was some disgruntled element within the army. Why would they? Why it did not happen before?
Why hasn't it happened before? Since you became independent in South Sudan, you've been fighting all manner of pockets of resistance and rebellion to your authority.
Well, some of these rebellions they had no political objective. Some people maybe for cattle wrestling reasons.
So why do you think that soldiers firing on a military base is a political objective?
Yeah, of course. It was very clear that they were connected with the people who...
Actually, Machar must be a very foolish person. He must be a very stupid fellow to go and attack a military thing instead of going to kill the president. Yeah. You don't become a president by going to the military. You go by going to the radio, you go to the TV, you go to where the president is, you kill him. You don't go and kill the other soldiers. But you must be very stupid.
But the president is within the palace. And of course, nobody can just come in. The palace is being protected.
If you really want to do a coup, you get military support.
And if we are talking about if we are not talking about the ethnic part of it, we assume here that Machar was involved, the effects of arresting Machar, who is supported by the newer tribe, don't you think it's also going to affect the Dinkas? It will be seen as the Dinkas against the Newers.
Well, I think there will be some political opportunists who may try to exploit the situation in that way. But the situation, as I put it very clearly, it is not an ethnic situation. It is a political power. A group of people wanted to take power through illegitimate means.
How? By taking a military camp?
There is fear that, as I said earlier, is that these coups are normally used to crack down on some individuals. You know, in 1982, after the 1982 coup attempt in Kenya, Moi became a kind of paranoid. And he used that from 1982 to make sure that you kill any opposition voice. It has happened not only in Nairobi here, but even in other countries in Africa. And so Southern Sudan may not be any different.
Well, I don't think there is any reason for the government to use any situation, except this situation was a realistic situation. And there was an attempted coup within the army headquarters and in south of Juba. And it has nothing to do with ethnic divide. It has nothing to do with any other background except a group of people who were not convinced for the leadership of our president. Now wanted to take over power by force, which is not allowed by the AU.
You take over power in the army, in the democratic electoral government. You don't do that. Yeah. That is very foolish. I mean, that's not the way to do things, the way I see it.
The way we know that we are a democratic country, we thought the group would have waited. We are just only 1 year.
What happened is that there was...
And probably you saw it coming because how come the president sacked the vice president and others? Was there must be a big rift? Because it's not normal for...
No, but most of these people were in government for over 8 years since we signed the comprehensive peace agreement. But they will find that majority of them were not delivering. How would you keep people who are not delivering government? So the president wanted the people to be served. The president wanted services to be extended to the people. That was why.
Right.
Within his constitutional mandate, he made a reshuffle.
Mutegi and Wawera, you both referred to the 1982 coup in Kenya. Are there any other parallels you see with the situation in South Sudan, given that a lot of we have at the heart of this dispute is a dispute between two very powerful, influential individuals rather, who fought ostensibly. Some might dispute that for the country's liberation. Where we'll start with you.
I think there are those parallels woodwork. If you look at Kenya in 1963, 50 years ago, and I think that's where Southern Sudan is. It was a very cohesive society. If you look at the first cabinet in 1963, people like Agwins Kothek, Achieng Oneko, Jaramogi was there, Jomo Kenyatta is the president, we had James Gishuru, Julius Gikonyo, and all this very good cabinet. In fact, it was the best coalition government in 1963. If only they had continued that way, would have been very far. But unfortunately, because of those power plays, and there can never be power play without some backing from your community, and that community must have numbers. You know, the fight will always be between the Lus, Kalenjins, and the Kikuyus, because of that power. There is no way Machar is going to attempt to overthrow a government in Southern Sudan without knowing, without thinking that I will need some backing. Because even when you become president...
And having the confidence that he has the backing.
Yeah, he has the backing. And therefore, there is a relationship between the power play and the ethnic part. That's my take on it.
Right. Mutegi, what do you think? Parallels between the situation in South Sudan and Kenya, if there are any parallels?
As I said in 1982, I think these are military people.